A lot of you have been clicking on this review of Google's new browser. Chrome is in beta form right now, trying to take on Microsoft's Internet Explorer and Mozilla's Firefox. We're joined now by a member of the CNN.com search team who's here to clue us in on Chrome, Topher Kohan. All right, you've been playing with this thing all day. How do you like it?
I actually like it a lot. It's pretty fantastic. From a pure search point of view, it really optimizes the experience. It's fast, it's quick, it's downloadable, it's secure. For someone who spends a lot of time on the web using web applications like Google Mail and going to my bank and booking plane tickets and such, it's fantastic because it's quick, it works fast, and when I'm using it, I know I'm secure. That's the one thing Google is really pressed about this thing.
Okay, so we're looking at Chrome right now. It looks a lot sleeker as well than Internet Explorer or Safari or Firefox or another browser.
Yeah, that's right. Google really thought that the user would want a bigger window, so they got rid of a lot of the stuff up top. A lot of the Chrome, ironically enough, is what developers call that up top. So they got rid of a lot of that to make it so that the end user has a bigger viewing area, because that's really what you're using the web for, is to view the web page.
Okay, so sleek and chic right there. And I'm also noticing as we type in something in that, it becomes a browser. If you type in the URL space, you all of a sudden see like the top 4 results from Google?
Yeah, it becomes, Google's calling that the omnibar. And what it is, it now works like you would if you went to Google's homepage and started typing in a search. So it gives you the top 3 or 4 best guesses it can have, what they call adaptive search. So you can really go in and make some good choices there. That's going to change a lot of ways. If this gets picked up by Firefox and Internet Explorer, it's really going to change the way people use the browser. And I think it's also going to change search engine optimization and how smaller sites, smaller companies are going to have to really look at it, because now you have to be in that top 3 or 4.
Yeah, search engine optimization, what you do all day long, Topher, is going to be so important for politicians. We're looking at Sarah Palin's page. You probably typed in Sarah Palin. Wiki came up on the top 4.
That's
right.
Right.
A lot of small businesses are so concerned about the top 10, which is even hard for a lot of them to get on that page, and now we're shrinking that to 4.
You're absolutely right. I mean, now we were always taught that the top 3 or 4 was the holy grail, that if you were in the top 5 or 10, you were fine. But now it's really, you've got to take that extra mile. I think I can safely say that this makes search engine optimization not something a small company should do, but it's something a small company has to do.
Yeah, it really it raises the bar so much more if you want to get your name out there in the blogosphere, in Google's search engine. Why did Google do this? I guess that's a big question right now. Why Google? Why now?
2 reasons. One, Google really wants to highlight the fact that the internet or the web is the new operating system, and that we'd be using Google from the time we get up to the time we go to bed. So we launch our browser and we're in Google. We'll go to our Google Mail, we'll go to Google Docs, we'll use Google as an operating system. And they really wanted something that was secure for the average user who uses applications, and they thought this was the best way to do it.
Okay, secure in that sense, you mean you can also opt out of the tracking? Because I know Google is very keen on AdSense and tracking what users are doing online.
That's absolutely right. Google, when you first launch the browser, gives you an option of how much information you want to send them. Because this is a beta, they want a lot more information than they normally would. But on the base level, you're not giving them any more information than if you used Google's Mail, Gmail. And so there was a lot of concern when it first came out, but now that we have gotten our teeth into it a little bit, we realize that Google isn't getting as much information from us, but they are now because it's beta. And that's one of the problems with this browser in general.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because obviously there has to be some drawbacks. This can't be the
Google
best
Love Fest.
thing. Right.
Yeah, there's a couple big problems with this browser right off the bat, is the fact that it is beta, so there could be problems. Web pages may not render correctly. The second thing is that people who use Firefox from Mozilla a lot are used to having add-ons to extend the usefulness of the browser. None of those work in Chrome yet. The other thing, small things that people are used to, the home button.
I like that.
It's not there by default.
Mine is CNN.com.
Right, and as is mine, but it's not there by default. You have to dig through some preferences to get it up there. Same thing with making it your default browser. Usually when you use Internet Explorer or Safari on the Macintosh or Firefox, the first time they ask you, do you want this to be your default browser? Then you can tell them to never ask me again.
Oh.
Well, Chrome doesn't even do that. It's those little tiny things I think Google needs to get right before this browser is ready for the mainstream.
Okay, and also your favorites. So give me the car analogy. How has Google watched all the other guys do their thing?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, when the Japanese automakers got into the truck business, is that they saw what the U.S. automakers have already done and found out what the problems and the concerns the consumers had. Google did the same thing. They step back and they go, what are people's problems with Internet Explorer, with Firefox, with Safari? What don't they like? And then they step back and they started from the ground up. And that's going to give them a huge advantage in the long run, I think.
And it's also going to make your job a little bit tougher. We talked earlier today that a bunch of people are already using it to get to CNN.com. All right, Topher Kohan, thanks so much for giving us the ins and outs, the good and the bad of Chrome.
Thank you.